Alrighty, so I'll kick things off here. So my name is Nick Fowler, and I'm the Buckeye Food Alliance coordinator. And Buckeye Food Alliance is a student organization that really aims at reducing the impacts of food insecurity for college students here at Ohio State.
Awesome. I can go next. My name is Luke Bailey. I am with Buckeython. Buckeython is a student-run philanthropy at Ohio State. So we hold different events throughout the year, but all of the money that we raise goes to Nationwide Children's Hospital for pediatric cancer research.
Awesome. Thank you. First question for Buckeye Food Alliance. Were you able to continue operation even when students were told to not come back to campus? And how did this impact your volunteer staffing?
Yeah, absolutely. So we did have to modify our operations, but we kept running. We actually saw an increase in the number of folks that we were able to serve throughout that time. In particular, we saw a lot of our graduate professional students who are living in the area still, a lot of our international students who weren't quite sure on what going home might mean for them. So we were still able to serve students. We did have to reduce our locations. We have 2 pantry locations, reduced it down to 1 location to make it a little bit more logistically feasible. But even given our volunteer exiting, we're still able to serve our students.
Awesome. Thank you. And for Buckeython, how has this pandemic affected the future of the dance marathon, do you think?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. So there's definitely still a lot of unknown. We initially were supposed to still hold our dance marathon in February, as it does every year. But still, because of the unknown with second semester, we pushed it up to November. And that was still supposed to be a hybrid, somewhat in-person event, of course, following all social distance regulations from the university. But with the new updated guidelines, we weren't able to do that at all. So now we're hosting a 100% virtual dance marathon. And we do think as of now that we are going to stick with a November date for all years to come, just to promote the student experience in that fall semester when everyone's getting to campus. But it will be interesting to see how the hybrid event and the online portion of it sticks with the event, because we are experimenting much more with online streaming services like Twitch for fundraisers, and then distance fundraising, like donating per mile that you run on your own at home, like a walkathon or an actual physical philanthropy marathon, things like that. So as of now, we are still experimenting with a ton of different ways to try and engage with people. But everything we've come up with so far will absolutely stay for all dance marathons to come.
Thank you. So the next question is for the both of you. What do you think are the benefits of getting involved with each of your service organizations on campus, especially now in a time like this with coronavirus and there's difficulty in the way that we're volunteering now?
Yeah, so I would say in the past, the vast majority of our volunteer opportunities were in person. It was being in the pantry, it was helping to stock shelves, move inventory. But I think one of the big advantages here is it's forcing us to be a little bit more creative in how we operate and how we manage volunteer staff. So we're not just kind of falling into the same trends that we might have before, because it was just how we've traditionally done it. And so right now, I think it gives us a lot of opportunities to engage more in our social media space, in our virtual space. I think food pantries as a whole, we've always been really great at distributing food to students. I don't know if we've always been the best at helping to educate students on how to best use that food once they have it in their hands. And I think this is a real opportunity for us to focus on some of those more periphery aspects and really, I guess, re-engage our volunteers in some spaces that are a little less in-person physical labor, right? And doing some more, using other skills they may have to engage students in new and challenging ways.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of the things Nicholas said. A lot of the behind the work scenes of Buckeython, or behind the scenes work, excuse me, is through email, communicating with student life, communicating with campus. So I think one of the cool things about getting involved this year especially is being creative and trying to come up with new ways to host our events instead of kind of just redoing the same things we've done year after year, and trying to come up with new ways to engage with our campus. But a cool thing about our organization, since a lot of the work is behind the scenes anyway, I do still think I have been able to engage with my team, talk to them every day, even though it's not in person. I still feel like I am getting that sense of community, which I know a lot of people join student organizations for.
Bouncing kind of off of that, how did each of you choose to become a part of the organizations that you are currently a part of?
Yeah, that's a great question. So my involvement's a little bit different. So I'm actually a full-time staff member that oversee Buckeye Food Alliance in a whole. And I think for me, when this job opportunity arose, it was really seeing where Buckeye Food Alliance was. It was very, is solely run by students up to that point, and it had a lot of potential, a lot of support, and there was certainly a need on campus. And so when I saw this opportunity, I saw just the potential that Buckeye Food Alliance had to offer to continue to grow and to serve students. And we're seeing that need more than ever. Now during COVID, with the job markets being so uncertain, there's just a lot of uncertainty for our students and their Ohio State experience. And so for me, it was really seeing the immediate impact in our campus community and just the raw potential, because we had a really solid foundation, a lot of energized and engaged students, and it's really easy to jump on board and be a part of a team when the need is so great, and when you have a lot of positive energy and folks who want to support the organization as a whole.
So I heard about Buckeython first at the involvement fair my freshman year in undergrad. And like every other student on campus, just wanted to get involved in something that I could be social in, meet people, but I also wanted to have a lasting impact on the campus community and the Columbus community, which is why I was really drawn to Buckeython specifically, because it is a group of 100 undergrad students that are doing great work, and we have social events, and we are in the homecoming parade, and we do a lot of things together socially. But I think truly the best thing about Buckeython that really brought me in and has kept me here is the fact that you do get to see that impact directly in our local community at Nationwide Children's down the road. We interact with the staff members there regularly. They attend our events. We get to know the kids going through treatment, and they come and interact with the students at Ohio State. So I think that's just been a really cool experience, is getting to see that impact directly and see that the work you're doing does have meaning.
Awesome. Luke kind of already answered this next question, but for Nicholas, what is some of the impact you've seen that your organization has brought to the campus?
Yeah, I think the impact's been more pronounced than ever, during the pandemic. Students coming through and I never thought a student would get excited seeing a menu of food options, and just knowing that there's a lot of hard work going into that, and seeing the reactions of students when they're coming through and knowing they have access to fresh fruits and vegetables. One of our recent partnerships in particular have been working with local farms to have locally grown organic fresh produce each and every visit when a student comes through, and having access to that, and knowing what that means to them when maybe their diet previously consisted of very processed foods. And so, firsthand, I think one thing that's a big difference now is we're not having students in the physical pantry itself. Traditionally, they'd come in and just shop for their own food. So there wasn't as much face-to-face interaction with students as far as like getting to know their needs and what they might do. But since the pandemic, we've actually been taking student orders. And so we've gotten to know the students a lot better and see, firsthand what products they like, what things they enjoy. Some of our students have families and they're bringing their kids to the pantry. And so that's been really cool to see, even the kids getting excited when they come in to visit the pantry and, seeing some of their favorite snacks or stuff on the menu like that. So just knowing that we're providing a great service in a world that's incredibly uncertain right now has been incredibly rewarding.
Awesome, thank you. And for Nick, where is the food pantry located? And do you have multiple locations throughout Ohio State's campus?
Yeah, so in January, we opened our second location. So our first location is located in Lincoln Tower. We opened our doors there in 2016. This past January 2020, we opened a second location at St. Stephen's Episcopal Church, right there on the corner of Woodruff and High. It was really great as far as accessibility goes, bringing the pantry a little bit closer to our students living in our north residential area and east of High Street. But due to logistical concerns in the pandemic, we closed almost 2 months to the day. We closed the doors there temporarily. The goal is to get it back up and running as soon as it's safe, and we're able to do that. But right now we're solely operating out of our Lincoln Tower location in Suite 150 down there, but the hopes are to get our St. Stephen's location open as soon as possible.
Thank you. And for the both of you, what are some ways that students watching can directly start working with these organizations and getting involved virtually, and once hopefully we transition to being more in person in the future, what are some steps that they can take?
Yeah, so for us and really any food pantry on a college campus, one of our largest barriers to getting involved is stigma, right? And getting students to actually visit the pantry. And so being a part of those dialogues, whether it's on social media, whether it's in the classrooms through assignments, talking about collegiate food insecurity, these students who are utilizing the pantry, they're not alone, right? We see shockingly high numbers across the country. So I think that's one way to get involved, just being a part of that narrative, or just being aware of the resources and sharing that with your friends and colleagues. We know the number one way students find out about us and come to visit is from the referral of a friend or a referral from a faculty or staff member. So I think that's a huge part there. And then we're really exploring more and more ways, whether it's content creation or whatever it might be. But that's something we're exploring more and more. As we move more in person, we always need folks in the pantry to do flyering events to help raise food and just bring awareness to the pantry overall.
If you'd at all like to get involved in Buckeython, a great place to start is at buckeython.osu.edu. That's our centralized website. And there's two main levels of involvement that most of our students participate in. Every year we have between 5,000 and 6,000 undergraduate students that are just team members. Those are people who are just actively fundraising for our cause. So this year, since everything is virtual, we have no registration fee and we have no fundraising minimum. So definitely, if you're at all interested, register for the virtual dance marathon, raise some funds if you can. If that's not a situation that you're in, then a great way to support Buckeython would also to be share or support those people that are fundraising for Buckeython. Between 5,000 and 6,000 students on campus are doing it, so you probably know someone involved. And then again, we do have about 100 members that is our general body that is doing the behind the scenes planning. If that's something that you'd like to be interested in and apply for, you can do that by going to our website and again to our membership page and attend an online info session that's happening in the next 2 weeks.
Awesome, thank you both. And we just had a new panelist join from College Mentors for Kids, Alyssa. And please give a brief overview of what your organization does and who it serves for us. Thank you.
Hi everyone, sorry I'm joining a bit late. We are currently in the middle of our national conference for College Mentors for Kids, so I'm bouncing in between those. So I am from College Mentors for Kids, which is an organization on campus that serves the Columbus community by interacting and connecting with students from Columbus City Schools and Southwestern City Schools. So we have 5 different days that we get to interact with a different elementary school and students in grades 1 through 5. It is a fantastic organization. We plan activities each week. We get everybody, everybody's a mentor, and you get paired up with a little buddy that you are paired with for the whole semester, the whole school year. And really, like, our goal of the organization is to connect kids in school districts that are very diverse and have like a wide population with college students to kind of like brighten their horizons or broaden their horizons and like just like create like a brighter future for them and give them like another adult to trust in their lives. So it's super fun. You definitely get to see an impact like every day that you're with a little buddy, and it connects you to the Columbus community too. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Alyssa. A question for you is, how are you able to provide this similar experience to the children that you mentor in this virtual world that we're now in?
Yeah, so that's actually what we have been discussing this weekend. We have adapted and are like one of the like pilot programs for what we're calling College Mentors for Kids at Home. So it's a completely virtual experience where the little buddies and the mentors still get to meet with their grade level group. It's going to look a little bit different, but it's still going to be a way to connect college students to a little buddy. We're hoping to have a way that we can participate in activities. So that might be with like virtual games or just, you know, having like conversations with students. So we're still a little bit unsure of what that's going to look like, but we're very optimistic that it's going to go well. Right now, it seems like each week is going to have a different theme. So space or the environment or something like that. And we're going to find ways that we can make an impact in our community and make an impact in little buddies' lives, but you know, through Zoom and through all that. So more to come on that. We're excited to get the program started though.
Awesome. And another question, just to learn more about the organization. How did you become involved in this organization, and what type of individual and student watching do you think would really appreciate an organization like this?
So my biggest advice is if you have a passion for either working with children or serving the Columbus community in like a completely different way than ever before, then College Mentors is for you. I love working with kids. I have young siblings. I babysit all the time. So I had actually met a friend who was in it who was like, you know, if you enjoy like partnering up with kids, like this is something you should try. And so that's how I got into it. We have like an application process every semester. And I would say what we're looking for is somebody who's excited and like wants to have a connection with, you know, a kid that just needs another adult or needs some fun in their lives or whatever. So it's a really great experience. It's been very valuable for me. And I feel like everybody else can definitely say like you feel the impact that you make when you like work with children. So anybody who wants to work with kids is probably a good fit.
Awesome. And just for a closing wrap-up question for everyone, where do you see your organization going in the future, especially how we're transitioning to virtual spaces, but maybe adapting more virtual interactions with volunteers? Do you see yourself doing that, or trying to make that change to being more in person? Where do you see yourself, and also trying to make your organizations more accessible, because maybe in the future students don't want to be as in person as they are now because of the awareness that we have in the world now. So where do you see your organization going?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. Kind of like what I alluded to earlier. I will see, I envision us moving less and less away from relying so much on in-person volunteer opportunities, which I think opens the door to utilizing more of our volunteers' diverse set of skills, right? And the skills they're working on in the classrooms, the skills that they've obtained in social media engagement and content creation. And so I think it actually broadens our horizons and forces us to expand how we view volunteership in our space. So yeah, it definitely sees doing much more online engagement and really diversifying the opportunities that we have to offer for our volunteers.
So I think the dance marathon is definitely a huge staple of Ohio State and of our organization. So I would love to see that continue in person year after year. But I think the shorthand success we're already seeing with the virtual event we're planning, I think it would warrant having a virtual like standalone event for that every year as well. Because an issue we've been seeing is kind of starting to flatline in our fundraising because we have so much of Ohio State's campus engaged. So we're trying to figure out how we can get outside of our campus and engage more of Columbus. We're seeing great success with that, moving virtually. So I think absolutely we're going to continue with having standalone virtual events just so we can broaden our horizons outside of just our Ohio State campus and engaging more and more of Columbus, similar to what Pelotonia has done, moving all virtual this year.
And then for College Mentors, I think like our overall hope is that we do get to be back in person together. But I think this new College Mentors for Kids at home is going to be a really cool new thing that we can do for students who might be sick or absent during that day, where we can still connect with them on a weekly basis. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes, but I definitely think this new program is going to be really cool.
Awesome. Well, that concludes this panel, and I want to thank all of the panelists. You guys gave such great insight, and we can start our wrap up now. Thank you all.
Well, thank you all so much for coming to our first ever virtual community commitment. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your Saturday and learning more about very important social justice issues that affect the Columbus community. And we really do hope that you learned a lot today and then also learned about how to further get involved with these organizations. We just wanted to give you some announcements as we wrap up the program. First and foremost, a lot of people have been asking about how to reach out to the panelists for either further questions or further volunteer opportunities. We will have all of the panelist information on our community commitment website. So once again, that's go.osu.edu/comcom, and that's where you can find all of the panelist information. As I mentioned earlier, we also recorded all of the panels, so if you couldn't join us for one of them, we will have them on our website as well, starting next week. And then if you want to check out all of the other programs that Pay It Forward has, I encourage you to check out our website at payitforward.osu.edu. We also want to hear from you. So as I said, this is our first virtual community commitment, and it changed in a lot of ways. If you could please visit the following link to let us know about your experience today, we would really appreciate it. So go to go.osu.edu/cceval20, or you can scan the QR code that you see on your screen. Finally, we ask that you follow us on social media. So we're on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at various handles. It's also on your screen, so please feel free to engage with us that way as well. On those social media pages, we post about our future opportunities as well. So definitely follow us so you don't miss any of those opportunities. And lastly, we will stay, me and the community commitment team will stay on here for the next 5 or 10 minutes or so. If you have any additional questions for us, please feel free to throw it in the Q&A, and we will help you get those answered. But once again, thank you so much for being here today. We really appreciate you, and we hope that you learned a lot today. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and we hope to see you at our future programs. Thanks, everyone.